It's also weird that the department adjusted a statement on Jeffrey Epstein's death a day prior to him actually dying.
Newly released documents tonight say President Trump personally warned officials about Jeffrey Epstein decades ago. The former Palm Beach police chief, Michael Ryder, telling the Miami Herald the interview with Donald Trump happened in the summer of 2006.
According to the FBI, Donald Trump told the Palm Beach police chief, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this," in a phone call about Epstein. This comes from an interview with the FBI in 2019. FBI conducted an interview with Michael Ryder, the former police chief, in 2019. Ryder's name is redacted in the release document, but a summary says the interviewee became the police chief in 2001. The date of the phone call between Ryder and Trump is not noted. Trump described Maxwell as Epstein's operative to Ryder and said she is evil and to focus on her. The president also shared that people in New York thought Epstein was disgusting, and he once was around Epstein with teenagers present, but got the hell out of there. Now, what's really interesting about this CBS News data dump, of course, is the fact that Donald Trump publicly has basically said very pleasant and very nice things about both Jeffrey Epstein back in the day, and certainly about Ghislaine Maxwell as well, including, but not limited to, wishing her well.
I just wish her well, frankly.
I wish her well. Interesting situation. Did Trump call the chief in 2006? Look, it was a phone call that may or may not have happened.
Called the chief in 2006. Caroline, did he call the chief?
Look, it was a phone call that may or may not have happened in 2006. I don't know the answer to that question. What I'm telling you is that
You could ask your boss. I don't know if we could trust him.
President Trump has always said is that he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his Mar-a-Lago club because Jeffrey Epstein was a creep, and that remains true. And this call, if it did happen, corroborates exactly what President Trump has said from the beginning. And I'm sure many of you...
Dude, I love that. It's like, oh, if it did happen, it actually exonerates him. He is a white hat pedophile. He's a white hat pedophile. That's what it is.
Alleged FBI report.
But maybe it didn't happen. Who cares? Look away.
Probably thought to yourself, wow, this really cracks our narrative that we've been trying to push about this president for many years. So we're moving on from that. Ryder,
who retired as chief in 2009, confirmed to the Miami Herald that he was interviewed by FBI agents in 2019. He said the conversation with Trump happened in July 2006. An FBI official denied that Trump called Ryder. "We are not aware of any corroborating evidence that the president contracted law enforcement 20 years ago," the official said. The new information about Trump's 2006 comments comes as Maxwell was summoned to appear by video Monday before the House Oversight Committee. Maxwell, 64, is serving a 20-year sentence. So they got Michael Ryder to be like, "Oh yeah, Trump called me," and he was like, "Look into Ghislaine Maxwell." And then 20 years later, Donald Trump is defending Ghislaine Maxwell? It makes no sense. The white hat whistleblower file angle does not make sense at all, especially when you judge what Donald Trump's current DOJ is doing right now. Because if he was actually a white hat file that was Epstein affiliated and knew Epstein's heinous crimes, he would not be standing in opposition to the revelation of the Epstein files. He would not be directing his FBI to redact both himself and everyone else that is directly involved, all of his buddies that are directly involved that are in his cabinet from the Epstein files. He is striking the record on purpose over and over again. He would just say, "I was affiliated with Jeffrey Epstein when I found out his heinous crimes. I dropped them. I told the police that I dropped them. And also now that I'm president, I can actually reveal all this information, including all of the trove of Epstein file data that is readily available to you on the website." But he's not doing that, right? Not doing that at all. So that doesn't make any sense. Circumstances behind Ryder's 2019 FBI interview have also not been reported before. The FBI just came to Palm Beach at the former police chief's request to pick up 2 boxes of Epstein case files that were found in the home of Joe Recarey, the lead detective who handled the case. Recarey, 50, died of natural causes in May 2018, and his widow moved out of the area. Ryder notified the FBI after the boxes were turned over to him, the report said. He told the FBI that one of the boxes contained an imaged copy of a laptop computer from Epstein's kitchen counter that had phone messages on it that Ryder had not seen before, the FBI report said. The report did not say what else was in the boxes. The interview was 4 pages, mostly focusing on Ryder's summary of the Palm Beach Police Department's investigation into Epstein, which began in 2003 when the police received the report that young women were seen going in and out of Epstein's waterfront mansion at 358 El Brillo Way on the island of Palm Beach. The police set up surveillance at Epstein's house, but upon checking the identities of 2 of the women who were visiting, found them to be adults. The case was closed because the police found no evidence of a crime at the time. Then, in March 2005, Palm Beach police received a call from a woman reporting that her 14-year-old stepdaughter had been molested by Epstein. Upon interviewing the girl, she told them that other girls were being sexually assaulted as a part of an organized scheme in which high school girls were being recruited to give Epstein massages that led to assault and at times even rape, according to Ryder's account. which is also backed by the court files. More surveillance was done on Epstein's house, Ryder told the FBI agents. Some kids were observed, prepubescent with braces and backpacks coming from school. One employee said there were dozens of girls in one day. The Palm Beach Police Department then put together a case and brought it to the state's attorney's office. Ryder explained that he was upset with the state attorney, Barry Kreischer, rebuffed police efforts to arrest Epstein in 2006. After Kreischer declined to prosecute, Ryder took the unusual step of writing a letter asking Kreischer to recuse himself from the case. When Kreischer refused, Ryder then took the case to the FBI. The case was turned over to the Miami U.S. Attorney's Office in early 2007. Epstein hired a team of high-powered attorneys, private investigators, whom Ryder said followed him and other police officers assigned to the case and picked through their trash in order to find something they could use to discredit them. I do mean to be annoying when I say leftism is incomplete without feminism. This is why this case cannot be understood without the power discussion around misogyny and capitalism. Yes, a lot of people that weren't directly involved in the cover-up played a role in the cover-up by turning a blind eye to these atrocities because they thought, it's just boys being boys. It's true. I don't think anyone's arguing against that. I certainly am not. The case was turned over to the Miami U.S. Attorney's Office in early 2007. Epstein hired a team of high-powered attorneys and private investigators. They tried to discredit him. Epstein lived less than a mile from Mar-a-Lago. Jeffrey, who died by suicide last year, has said that who died by suicide? I thought Virginia Jeffrey was in a horrible car crash and then succumbed to her wounds. That's interesting. I thought there was a bus crash that took place. After saying, I have no plans to take my own life too, she also wrote a letter saying, if I die, I did not commit suicide. Anyway, has said that Maxwell approached her while she was working at the spa and offered her a job. Yeah, at the spa of Mar-a-Lago, Virginia Jeffrey. As a masseuse for a wealthy man, it was Maxwell who introduced her to Epstein. Palm Beach police, however, said no victim they had interviewed indicated they were recruited or abused by Maxwell, who by 2006 had largely been absent from Epstein's Palm Beach home. Trump has said that he banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago after learning he was trying to steal his employees, but the president has consistently denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes. He even went so far as to say Epstein was a terrific guy and noted it is said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. In 2019, Epstein also wrote an email in which he said of Trump, of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. That email was contained in a cache of documents the House Oversight Committee obtained from Epstein's estate pursuant to a subpoena in December. Ryder told the FBI agents that by 2007, he became troubled by the fact that that the federal prosecutors still had not arrested Epstein, so we requested a meeting with the then Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta to find why. Now, Alex Acosta told him that the defense attorneys had frustrated prosecutors and that there was a lot of interest from the higher up. Ryder told the FBI he felt there was a hurry to make this case go away shortly after meeting with Acosta. Now, you might know Alexander Acosta, not as the young upstart federal prosecutor, but as Trump's labor secretary. Yet another guy that was deeply involved in allowing Epstein to roam free, who then was elevated into a position of prominence under the Trump administration. So it's not just Howard Nutlick. It's not just Howard. It's not Howard. It's not just Elon Musk. It's not Steve Bannon. Alexander Acosta from the previous administration was also connected to Jeffrey Epstein. So was Bill Barr, who happened to be the head of the DOJ at the time of Jeffrey Epstein's assassination, under the watchful gaze of Bill Barr. Bill Barr's dad was the guy who gave Jeffrey Epstein his first job. Peter Thiel, another Trump affiliate, deeply entangled with Jeffrey Epstein. Just interesting. Here's Yashar Ali saying, a reminder that former Trump Labor Secretary Alex Acosta, the former U.S. attorney who negotiated the highly controversial 2008 non-prosecution agreement with Jeffrey Epstein, now serves on the board of Newsmax. The 2008 deal allowed Epstein to plead guilty to 2 state prostitution charges, avoid federal sex trafficking prosecution, serve a lightly supervised 13-month jail sentence, secure broad immunity for unnamed potential co-conspirators, which effectively shut down a larger federal investigation into his abuse network. Acosta resigned as labor secretary after his Epstein deal received renewed scrutiny. It's also weird that the department adjusted a statement on Jeffrey Epstein's death a day prior to him actually dying. So there's that as well. August 9th is when these guys actually had a statement. August 10th is when Jeffrey Epstein died. I don't know how that works, to be fair. I'm sure there's an explanation for this. Very strange. Is that confirmed? Chatter, this is literally from the files. And it's not just like I mistyped 10 as 9. Okay, then why is it Friday? Isn't August 9th a Friday and August 10th a Saturday? Let's look it up. What day was August 9th, 2019? Yep, it was a Friday. So if it was supposed to say August 10th, and they messed up and typoed it and they wrote August 9th, then it would actually say Saturday, August 9th, 2019. Don't you think? If this was a misclick in the way that they are presenting it, it would say Saturday, August 9th, 2019, as opposed to Friday, August 9th, 2019, because August 9th was a Friday. So they mistyped Friday as well on top of August 9th as well. Could be a time zone thing. Brother Jeffrey Epstein was killed in the Southern District of New York. It's the same time zone. Why would there be a statement announcing Epstein's death dated for a day before his body was found? Also, sans reference to suicide. Here's the official statement. Notice the difference in the body of text of an apparent suicide. It certainly could be a typo, but there's a difference in the bodies of the text as well. Epstein's body wasn't found until August 10th, 2019 at 6:33 a.m., and he was pronounced dead at 7:36 a.m., according to their own records. What we do know from the timelines constructed by news orgs like CNN is that the last time anyone officially saw Epstein in any capacity was prior to 10 p.m. on August 9th. The two guards on duty skipped their required checks. It certainly makes the recent CBS News article about someone moving towards Epstein's tier circa 10:39 p.m. far more interesting. The officer that discovered Epstein's body also seemingly misplaced the noose Epstein is alleged to have used. I don't recall taking the noose off. I really don't, he told CBS News. I don't recall taking the thing from around his neck. So was there a noose at all? Interesting stuff, especially with all of the inconsistencies or all of the perfect mishaps that took place around Jeffrey Epstein's untimely demise. You have to be the biggest dumbass to assume that he actually killed himself and that the state did not actually assassinate him. No, they did not move him to Israel. Oh my God. Oh my God. I do not believe that Jeffrey Epstein was moved to Israel and he is alive in Israel. I think the higher likelihood is that they killed him and his dead man switch was supposed to be Ghislaine. And Ghislaine clearly did not use the dead man switch and leak information after Jeffrey Epstein's death. This is part of the reason why Ghislaine Maxwell is not dead right now and very much alive. Either because they haven't figured out what her dead man switch looks like, or because they're keeping her alive to play the role of principal witness in creating a narrative around all of these powerful people not being affiliated. It is not a secret that Jeffrey Epstein was obsessed with repopulating the planet in a way that is not dissimilar to Elon Musk. These guys were eugenicists. They were massive racists. They were obsessed with IQ, and they were obsessed with declining birth rates. There's enough evidence to suggest that the New Mexico residency that Jeffrey Epstein had under his name, also known as Zorro Ranch, which, by the way, Bill and Hillary Rodham Clinton has visited, for the record, just so you know, was an operation for breeding people. Like there is a testimony from victims that Jeffrey Epstein had an OBGYN come to the Zorro Ranch in New Mexico to go through the process of making children through coercion, through rape, forced inoculation. Yeah. The New Mexico forced insemination. Sorry. Yeah. The New Mexico Ranch, also known as Zorro Ranch. Dude, I know. And they deleted the community wrote. Fortnite GG Rap shows the account's current name with stats from 2025. This account changes the username a few days ago to Littles Jeff 1. So that's the only one that is visible on the Wrapped. You are just speculating? Yeah, that's what people said about all this other Epstein shit, including that he committed suicide. When I was like, he didn't commit suicide. Yeah, wait a couple years until you arrive at that truth too. Also, this is not speculation. Jeffrey Epstein did hope to seed human race with his DNA. This is real. It's from 2019. Zorro Ranch was used as a breeding ground. Found another email exchange between Epstein and Bishop. Epstein, I like implant embryo. Wait 9 months. Great ending. Epstein appears to have had multiple meetings with biohacker Brian Bishop about cryptocurrency and designer babies, genetic engeneering, animal testing in a Ukrainian lab. More on the Ukrainian lab in the MIT Tech Review article. The lab was connected to Ukraine's Academy of Medical Sciences in Kyiv. Research on agrobacterium for DIY gene editing. You can write off Epstein is alive, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. I just don't think it's likely. I don't. Like, what is the purpose? What could be the purpose of Jeffrey Epstein still being alive? Still being alive rather than dead right now. When you're looking at the realm of possibility, you have to think about his dead man switch Don't you think it's more likely that his dead man switch was in the hands of Ghislaine Maxwell? The elites worshipped him. Why would they not try to hide their guy? I don't think the elites worshipped him. I think the elites worshipped the access that he had. You said he didn't kill himself, so this is the next logical fallacy. He's alive. Yeah, I'm saying he didn't kill himself. I'm saying he got murdered. Tying off loose ends is not that crazy, especially considering that another Jeffrey Epstein affiliate, Jean-Luc Brunel, died under similar circumstances in a French prison. Hello? This is like the oldest thing that the FBI and the CIA does to their assets. And so does the Mossad. Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Ghislaine Maxwell's father also died under mysterious circumstances. Fell out of his boat. And if you look into the details of what took place with Robert Maxwell, you'll see a lot of inconsistencies there as well. He was off in his yacht. No signs of visible struggle whatsoever. Doors were locked from inside. A government that runs an international sex trafficking ring at the behest of Israel and its own intelligence agencies is not, is probably also not shy about killing some of these people. And Maxwell's own dad was retired by the state of Israel, and Epstein admits to it in an email. Yes, Robert Maxwell. It's a known secret. It's not really a secret at all. He got a hero's funeral in Israel, even though he got killed by the Israeli state. Epstein was a conversant in frontier research on AI models nearly 2 decades ago, which he also sought to apply to his interest in eugenics, in part by recruiting cryptography experts to apply the same methods to human biology. When intelligence comes to kill, they don't even bother to create a consistent crime scheme anymore. They know it doesn't matter anyway. They did their best on this one. Can you explain what a dead man switch is? Yes. A dead man switch is if you are like a serial blackmailer, or if you're like an agent and you have access to like incredibly compromising documents. A dead man switch basically goes off when you're killed. In the event of your untimely demise, it automatically mass distributes like all this classified information, and people usually know that you have a dead man switch. So that's basically your leverage, so they don't assassinate you, they don't burn you. It's insurance. In One Piece, Vegapunk had a dead man switch. Yes, it is likely that Mossad could have figured out what his dead man switch was and neutralized it. Or what's even more likely, in my opinion, is Ghislaine Maxwell is the dead man switch for Jeffrey Epstein, and she did not trigger it. Ghislaine Maxwell is his life partner, his partner in crime. It makes sense that he would have thought that she would not betray him in the end. And she could have totally just kept the dead man switch for herself, as evidenced by the fact that she's still alive. This doesn't mean that switch can't be neutralized. It certainly could.
Okay, so Jeffrey Epstein, he was also obsessed with bioengineering. So he had all of these scientists that he would donate money to their charities, and he would have them work on things and stuff. But what I heard, and this is completely unsubstantiated, but I heard it and I thought it was fascinating, was that he also had these same guys, because they were disease specialists and everything like that. He had them design a novel coronavirus that was his kill switch. Basically, like, that was his trump card, which is like, I don't go to jail or I release this shit. And like, it's like one of these things where if I don't keep entering in a thing every 30 days, I die. In like October or November, his kill switch went off, and that's when the disease got introduced into the world.
I don't believe that, because that would mean that Jeffrey Epstein is like directly connected to the Chinese government. Now that's a real conspiracy theory, though.
Until it became what we do today. I don't believe it.
I don't. I'm with you. I don't believe.
And of course, Mao can do no wrong. No, dummy. No. What we have readily available as far as Jeffrey Epstein's connections to foreign governments, if you think that he had any connection to China, you think the American media wouldn't be exhausting that to oblivion? Hello? There's no evidence. It's like one of the few governments, one of the few major powers in the world that he wasn't deeply connected with. Unless he's trying to say that coronavirus wasn't released in China, in Wuhan, but instead was released in America or something.
Believe that for a second, but that's a goddamn great conspiracy theory.
I love it, and I'm going to spread it as much as I can.
He did die after this, to be fair, under mysterious circumstances. Trevor died after falling off a balcony while engaging in outdoor masturbation. I don't know if he was was he actually engaging in outdoor masturbation, or is that made up? I can't tell, because like people say he died in a self-sucking injury or something. The director of the UAE Permanent Committee for Human Rights, Hind Al-Owais, the very first Emirati woman diplomat, pimping her little sister out to Epstein makes me think of a Pasolini quote from Salo. They have no idea the bourgeoisie has never hesitated to kill its children. This is heinous for the record. Are you in town? My sister is here and I've told her so much about you. I want her to meet you. Let me know when. Kisses. Any day until son would you like to come to lunch on sat with her? Hi, already in discussions with Bleep on time. I am so excited to see you and introduce you to my sister. She's even prettier than me. Also related to the Dubins, Selena adult video shoot 2/8/12. It seems abundantly clear that Eva and Glenn initiated their daughter into the pedocratic capitalist elite by pawning her off to Jeffrey Epstein for a baptism by fire as a teenager. Dozens of photographs of floppy disk CDs and photo albums were published in the first tranche of Epstein files, suggesting he had an obsession with documenting his life and those around him. These people are monsters, dude, that would absolutely sell off their own in order to get a fucking leverage position, in order to get an upper hand, in order to be a little bit more connected to the pedophilic elite. Yeah, also ironic that they said it was an obsession when it was his job. Newly released Epstein documents reveal FBI agent purposely removed hard drive from jail video recording system, intentionally erasing all prison footage during the time of Epstein's death.